I'm going to be starting with 7 by 7, but we'll start in around 10 minutes.
I love like okay.
Speedcubing is a sport where people solve a Rubik's Cube as fast as they can. Not necessarily at a specific speed or, you have to be a specific age or anything. It's basically where you come together as a community to be able to, do a shared passion with one another.
Some people just do it at home as a hobby and others compete at competitions.
In a WCA competition, there are 17 events.
So we have the classic 3x3 Rubik's Cube, which is the one we all know.
And then there's like the 3x3 adjacent events such as 3 blind, one-handed, and then there's also like 2x2 up to 7x7, and then there's like Mega Minx, Pro Minx, Cube, Square One, Clock, like all those like other events.
Just about 10 years ago, my friend bought me a Rubik's Cube for my birthday, and at the time it was one of the best speed cubes out there, and when I got it, I'm like, you need to get into cubing because you have one of the best speed cubes. And for a few months I didn't really do much with it until my cousin saw the Rubik's Cube scrambled in my house and he just solved it. I was instantly intrigued and I was like, oh yeah, you can do it. Can you teach me as well? And yeah, so he ended up teaching me the Rubik's Cube. It was in October 2015. And yeah, once I learned it, it just never stopped from there. I was hooked.
I got into speedcubing around 9 years ago. My dad just gave me a cube. It was lying around in the house and he was like, if you can solve 2 sides, I'll get you the Rubik's brand cube, because we thought that was the best one at the time. And so I took like maybe a week or 2 and I solved the 2 sides, and then I got the Rubik's brand, and then I learned how to solve with the beginner's method. And then I took a bit of a break, but then I picked it up like 3 years ago, and then I competed like 2 years ago.
I think a common misconception about cubing is just like, you have to be like really smart or whatever, but I think the main thing is just dedication and motivation to be able to, pursue this thing that you want to do. It's just like any other thing, like you could be the best in the world at something, but it really depends on how much you like dedicate your time towards that. So I don't think you necessarily have to be good at math or really smart to be able to do cubing, because I believe it's for people of all ages, all backgrounds, and I think it's good to be able to know that anyone can do this as long as you dedicate your time to it and you really want to become better.
So the way a lot of non-cubers might think you solve a Rubik's Cube is by going side by side, but that's actually very different from the method we actually use.
What we do first is we basically form a thing called a white cross. So the thing that we do is we intuitively solve a white cross, which looks like this, where you put the white edges next to the white center.
After this, you tend to go layer by layer. So essentially, a beginner would basically go 1 layer at a time, the first layer, second layer, and then the third layer. But if you're more advanced, another method that is commonly used is to solve the first 2 layers at the same time, and this is called F2L.
So for example, I see that there's the white, orange and green piece here, and then there's the orange and green piece here. So I see that these correspond to one another. So I can look at the cube and know what to do to solve it in the spot. For example, like that. So that solves those 2 pieces. And then I would repeat that 4 times until you get the first 2 layers, which looks like this. The whole first 2 layers are done.
Then after this, you have to solve the opposite color to the side you started on. So I started with white, and the opposite of white, as you can see on this center, is yellow. So what you got to do is do one of the 57 algorithms to solve yellow. There are 57 different cases you can get for the top yellow side, and this is one of them. So just gonna go ahead and do it.
Do based on that, and then we would just look at the rest of the pieces on the side, and based on the few blocks and the edges and the corners, I can recognize the one of the many algs that I have to do to solve the rest of the puzzle. Just like that.
Nine flat.
The cubing community is like awesome. Like it's just like such a supportive community, and I think like being in that environment with other cubers really like motivates me to do better. Like when I come home from a comp, I'm just like so motivated to just like, you know, learn different algs or like just get better at a specific event and stuff.
The main reason I attend speedcubing competitions is 100% for the community.
Because, you know, like everyone's just so nice, they're so welcoming. We all have like a shared passion, which is like the best thing to have. Like when you have things to talk about, it's always great to, you know, build friendships and bonds that will last for like a lifetime.
Going to comps is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Like, because I'm moving to Australia at the end of the year, and when I like found that out, I was like, oh, like I'm like one of the things I'm going to miss the most is the NZ speedcubing community.
You know, at competitions, like sure, it is called a competition and you are ranked against other people, but at the end of it, most cubers are just competing against themselves and just want to be better than they were yesterday, break their own personal records. And you know, while the placements of the competitions do matter and like, you know, the records you break do matter, at the end of it, like the community is just so supportive of each other. Like they always want you to give your best, and yeah, everyone in the community wants to see you succeed. Honestly, as someone who really appreciates support amongst the community, I wouldn't have it any other way. If the community was more toxic and, you know, not as supportive, I feel like I would have quit the hobby quite a while back.
Cuban community is basically what shaped who I am today. I really wouldn't see myself as Elyas without the Cuban community. I honestly wouldn't know where I would be without them. I don't think I would be as chatty as I am. I don't think I'd be as confident as I am today without the community. You know, they've taught me like great life lessons and just being able to, you know, when there's struggles or sad times, you know, just to get up and, you know, continue going, because, you know, you have to push through those bad times and, you know, the good times will eventually come.
Winning the competition with an 8.01 average is Lockie Gibson.